Good afternoon, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update. And in the news this afternoon, CCTV footage not saved beyond the 5 days, Maitland's neighbor tells a court. A neighbor of Constable Noel Maitland admitted on Monday that recordings from the closed-circuit television camera system outside his apartment were only saved for 5 days. The neighbor told the court that he thought that the recordings were secured, but it turned out that it was not so. He only found this out after representatives from the Independent Commission of Investigations accompanied him to his house to collect the camera system and any associated footage as evidence. Constable Maitland is on trial for murder and perverting the lawful burial of a corpse following the disappearance of his 24-year-old girlfriend, Donnelly Donaldson, in July 2020. Donaldson was last seen alive at the Chelsea Manor apartment complex in New Kingston, St. Andrew, where Maitland lived. Prosecutors theorized that she was murdered inside Maitland's apartment between July 12 and 13, 2024, and her body disposed of in an unlawful manner. It is alleged that CCTV footage showed Donaldson arriving at the apartment, but none showed her leaving. The revelation from the neighbor, who is the fifth witness to give a testimony in the trial at the Home Circuit Court, came out during cross-examination conducted by one of Maitland's attorneys at law, Christopher Townsend. The witness had told the court last week that he felt pressured by Maitland to delete the CCTV footage. He testified that he told Maitland numerous times that he would not delete the footage. On Monday, Townsend asked the neighbor, who was giving testimony via a secured video link as he is overseas, whether he at all complied with Maitland's request to delete the footage. The witness said no. However, when Townsend asked him if he knew where the footage was, the neighbor said, "No, I do not." When Townsend asked him if he knew how long the recordings remain on the system, the witness said that at the time he wasn't precisely sure how long the footage was to remain. Townsend probed whether the neighbor knew at the time that the footage was not stored on the system beyond 5 days. The witness indicated that he was only made aware of that when he was taking the camera system to Indicom. When Townsend asked him if there was any footage for the police to get on the July 21, 2022, the witness said 5 days would have passed. I learned that the footage was there only for 5 days. The witness told the court that he had been of the impression that the footage would have been secure. Townsend asked the witness if he had called the police after Maitland caused him to view the footage on July 14, 2022. He also asked him if he had called the police when he began to feel pressured by Maitland to erase the CCTV footage. The witness said no. Townsend also asked him if he had called the police after he saw things being posted online about the case and after his mother had called him after she saw certain things on the news. No, the witness said. He also said to the best of his knowledge he wouldn't know if there was anything incriminating on the footage. He admitted that he in fact told the investigators that he did not see anything suspicious on the recording. Prior to Townsend cross-examining the witness, Senior Prosecutor Claudette Thompson, during examination in chief, led the witness to explain what took place in his apartment on July 14, 2022, while he, Maitland, and a technician viewed the footage from the camera. The neighbor told the court that on July 14, 2022, between 7 p.m. and 8 p.m., after viewing footage of July 11 and 12, 2022, the technician said he had to leave. Before leaving the apartment, the technician indicated that he could come back later in the night. The neighbor said that when the technician left, Maitland also left. He said that the technician did not return, but he spoke to him on the phone that same night. He said he saw Maitland briefly again that night when he, Maitland, came to his door. The neighbor said he was in his apartment at the time and went to the door to see Maitland to tell him that he was going to bed. According to him, Maitland said, "All right, get some sleep." The neighbor told the court that Maitland did not say why he was at his door but pointed out that he had earlier tried to call Maitland, but it didn't reach him. "I closed the door and went to bed," the witness said. The neighbor told the court that he remembered Friday, July 15, 2022. He said that morning he had been working remotely from a cafe and Maitland called him. Prior to speaking to him, Maitland had attempted to call him 3 times. He said that when he spoke to Maitland, the policeman again asked him about the camera footage and if all the footage would still be available. The witness claimed that he told Maitland that the footage on the camera would be in the system memory. He said he didn't see Maitland that same day. The neighbor told the court that on Saturday, July 16, 2022, he received multiple missed calls from Maitland. He said he eventually answered a call from the police constable. He told the court that he deliberately did not answer the calls because he was trying to avoid talking to Maitland. However, he said he decided to answer one of the calls that came in between 11 a.m. and midday. "I deliberately missed the calls earlier because at that point, I would have become familiar with the situation. I became aware of a situation through the news media as well as through my mother, who called me about it, having seen it on the news media," he said. He said that on the Saturday, when he answered the call from Maitland, the constable asked him if the police came to his apartment, what would be the plan. "I told him I was feeling very uncomfortable about the situation and that it was unlikely I would be at home," he testified. He claimed that Maitland was concerned about the police getting access to the neighbor's apartment. According to him, that was the very last conversation he had with Maitland. The neighbor said he was subsequently contacted by a co-worker on July 20, 2022. The co-worker relayed a message to him via Microsoft Teams. He said that within 10 minutes of receiving that message, he made a contact with a high-ranking member of the police force. The neighbor said he recalled giving a statement to Indicom on July 21, 2022. "I made arrangements for Indicom to come to my apartment to collect the video recording system. They collected the entire device," he said, pointing out that he was the one who gave the individuals from Indicom access to his apartment. He explained that he remembered telling the court that on the footage captured on July 11, 2022, he had seen a female emerge from a BMW, which he referred to as Maitland's car. He told the court that he could not validate whether or not he had ever seen or spoken to Donaldson. He did, however, admit to knowing the mother of Maitland's child. "We want back my baby." Mother pleads for help to find the missing 8-year-old. As she combed through sections of Waterford St. Catherine yesterday, Prudence Griffith was a picture of despair. Her face was streaked with tear stains and perspiration, and her feet were partially covered in dust. Griffith has been restless since Friday, the last time she saw her 8-year-old autistic son, Navardo Blackburn. With tears streaming down her cheeks, she pleaded with the public for help. "May I ask if anyone see my son to just reach out to the nearest police station and leave him there? Me can't eat and me stress out. I want back my baby," she said. According to police reports, Navardo was last seen at a playing field on Queens Avenue in Gregory Park. He is of dark complexion and a slim build. Griffith said she received a distressing call from her mother informing her that the child was missing. Her heart skipped a beat, but she never imagined that the day would end without them being reunited. "Me reach home and we start search for him Friday until now, and all know. Me never come off of the road until about 2 a.m. Saturday morning. And me go by the station and the police say we must go back go search for him. And if we don't find him, we should come back by the station. We went back and I make the report," she said. As she cradled one of Navardo's younger siblings in her lap, Ivy Walcott's eyes welled up with tears. The missing boy's grandmother said Navardo and his 3 siblings were left in her care on Friday. Walcott told the news that she left the children briefly to collect the food at a nearby fish fry. "When we come back in the house and call them, I realized the older sister, who is 15, was sleeping and the other 3 was not in the house," the grandmother said. Walcott said she immediately went to searching for Navarro and his younger siblings. She spotted them by a playing field about 5 minutes away. As she made her way towards the children, young Navarro saw her and dashed into a nearby lane, Melvin Avenue. That was the last time she laid eyes on him. Walcott said it was the first time Navarro had ventured to the playing field, though he would sometimes sit quietly by the gate. Normally, if you see him and ask him what him doing outside, he would just run and go under the bed. I went back to the house to check and he wasn't there. And I have been searching for him from that time until now, and no sign of him. No one in the community said they see him, and it surprised me because everybody knows him. Not even on the avenue that him run, anyone see him, Walcott added. Griffiths also said her son was not known to wander far from the house. This is the first time something like this has ever happened. And you can ask anybody. Me feel like me I go crazy because I don't know where my son is. My son is autistic and him know him name, but it will take long for him to say it. He will not know his address or so on, she said. Griffiths and several relatives were led to search along Dyke Road and in a nearby fishing village following a disturbing phone call that turned out to be a false lead. I don't know what happened to my son, but I feel like somebody have him. This morning people are calling me and say them find body out of Dyke Road. So we go out there and search and nothing. We stop a police vehicle and the police say nothing like that. First this ever happened. Right now, although me know crocodile there in the mangroves, all in the way they are searching my son, but no sign of him, Griffith said. She also shared that while Navarro had completed basic school, he had not yet started primary school. He was awaiting an appointment for assessment before being placed in a learning institution. Anyone knowing the whereabouts of Navarro Blackburn is asked to contact the Caymanas Police at 876-988-1719, 119 police emergency number, or the nearest police station. Guys, thank you for watching. See you this evening at 6 p.m. for another news update.